Chapter 38 Reintroduction Intermission. When last met, maybe its menagerie decided to sleep on the floor in Perseus's hut, too exhausted to look anywhere else for sleep. After getting a few hours of rest, Leste made sure to get up before anyone else. That way she could make her way to Kino's room and talk with him in private. He was open to the idea, but got anxious when she asked about why she heard he was exiled. Regardless of any anxiety, though, he was open with what happened and spoke his side of the story. When he was younger, he witnessed his family's pygmy dragon pass away. In witnessing and observing, this inspired him to study and explore necromancy. He knew the Dulost brood would not accept this, so he found a new brood under the dragon Thraxus. Here, he learned more about necromancy and how the magic is not inherently wrong. Just controlling or manipulating of the soul is wrong. Eventually, while in the mage's circle of Alhira, he was in what he claimed to be the wrong place at the wrong time, and was caught using necromancy by the headmaster of the circle. The headmaster exiled him for this, and eventually he wandered to Vidale, where he met up with Perseus, then the two relocated to Murad. One part of this story confused Leste. For all her life, from people with no magical experience like herself to headmasters of circles, she had heard necromancy in any capacity was wrong. She asked Kino if Thraxus told him that necromancy was okay, or if he just decided that. He replied that while he was taught some necromancy by Thraxus, he was told by the god of death that select necromancy was deemed okay. This was hard for Leste to swallow, as the divine were quite reclusive, but none more than the god of death, a god that to some had become legend rather than seen as actual divinity. In spite of that, she understood now was not a normal time. She already had contact with an Ashen and Kulid themselves, so for the god of death to be reaching out as well was not out of the question. She just did not expect it to be someone she helped raise, especially Kino. He then continued, clarifying that the god of death said that Rival was the ones to warp necromancy to something foul and worth shunning. The necromancy they used is an act of danger to the Veil, and he wants to protect it. All of this was going over her head, but she trusted him. He spoke with conviction and a reason, and if that was not enough, his actions showed he was not using the magic for nefarious purposes, as he used it to save her brood. She let him know the gratitude she felt for saving Damatanus, and for telling her this. She did not feel she needed to protect her brood from him, so she asked if he wanted a proper introduction to her menagerie now. He replied in the affirmative, so she opened his door and introduced him as Kino, and as one of her young she raised. Kino mocked the introduction as she only assisted in his raising, and she was only a few years older than him, but he was happy to properly meet everyone. He had a talk with Maka on where the two learned their magic, and then had a warm welcome with Kaun as he stuck out his hand to shake, and Kaun replied by gently holding it with his mouth. The menagerie then organized and started talking about how their next destination was to the forest between Iran and Thylanod to try and find Perkring's parents. With that, let us continue.